Thank you. It's nice to see you all here today at our embassy. It's the first time for most of you to see this building? Yeah? We've been here about a year now, and we're actually pretty pleased with it. It's especially on a sunny day like this, we have light that comes in here. We have this wonderful sculpture that hangs up here. I call this crystal blue persuasion. When I was your age, there was back in the dark ages, there was an American group called Tommy James and the Shondells. There's a rock group, and they used to sing this song, Crystal Blue Persuasion. When I looked at it, I said, yeah, that's about what it looks like to me. Well, I hope I'm not going to be an anticlimax. I realized that when I was meeting with Vitaly Klitschko, and I asked him if he had a couple of minutes. He said, I don't have much time. I got to get down to Cherkasy. But then I told him who was here and what, and he said, oh, sure, I'd be happy to say hello. So anyway, if my wife were here, she would say, first you heard from the heavyweight champion of the world, now you're just hearing from a heavyweight. But, he was telling me as we were walking out to get into his car how much he envies you guys and how pleased he is that you have had the chance to go to the United States to learn English, and what a great program he thinks it is. And I had to tell him that the Flex program is one of my favorites. It's one that I think is it's a great program, number one for you, because it gives you an experience to life, gets you good English, experiences with the United States that I think you'll never forget. Good, bad, maybe some ugly, I don't know. But, we try very hard to give you an experience or to let you have the opportunity. And what you make of it is what you do. I've never met a Flex student who didn't really enjoy their experience in the United States. But I have to ask a very important question here. Many of you know that I was born in the state of Wisconsin. You've already won 25 extra points. How many people here went to study in Wisconsin? 1, 2, only 2, 3. Tuck, you've got to do better. You've got to do better than this. How many of you studied in the state of Minnesota? 1, 2, 3, 4. About the same. How many studied in California? Yeah, there we are. How many in New York? This is a pretty diverse group. Illinois. Idaho. Where's Idaho? Did anybody get to go to Hawaii? Oh! You must live a charmed life, is all I can say. I mean, it must have been hard to come home and tell your parents, I have to go to Hawaii to study. I don't know. Anybody for Alaska? Yeah. All right. Yeah, did you have a good time in Alaska? Yeah, where? What part of Alaska? Anchorage. That's a great place. So now when we had the snow here a few weeks ago and people said, damn, this winter is terrible, you say, let me tell you about winter. Yeah. Earlier in my career, I was assigned in Moscow, and I had this experience where when I was growing up, I watched the movie Dr. Zhivago, and you remember the scene where they go out into the country house, and through the snow and everything. And so I had this romantic idea that I would, when my children came to visit me the first winter we were in Moscow, that I would take them out to Suzdal, to the Golden Ring and see all the beautiful things. I picked the coldest weekend in 40 years. It was minus 35 was the high. That was the high. And so my youngest daughter, I have 2 daughters, my youngest daughter was at the university at that time, and she came, and she thought this was the craziest thing her old man had ever done before, drag her out in the middle of the Russian steppe and freeze. And Anyway, so I did that, but it was a very romantic time as we all kept everything on. But my daughter then went back to school at the University of Virginia. Anybody go to Virginia? Yeah, there you go. And one of her girlfriends who was from Mississippi said, Kathleen, it was so cold. We even had snow flurries in Mississippi. And Kathleen said, let me tell you about winter. Anyway, I'm sure many of you have great stories. One of the things that you should try to do is, I'm always looking for good stories. If you have good ones, write them out and send them to Tuck, because I think sometimes you have these kind of what I call slice of life. You know, you get a picture of America that, you know, Americans don't always maybe appreciate it like you do, because you've come from outside the States and you've seen something that maybe not so funny to us, but it's absolutely hilarious to you about America. If you have something like that, give them to Tuck or to Vera, and they'll send them up to me. You know, but to be serious about this, one of the things I wanted to say today was that this program, which it's now 20 years old, and 5 years ago, the man who started this, Senator Bill Bradley, many of you probably don't even know who he is, but he was one of our great senators, in my humble opinion. He's the guy who started it, who got the money, and who, you know, you guys wouldn't have had your experience if it wasn't for his vision. But he was a man of great achievement. He went to Princeton. He was a Rhodes Scholar. He was an Olympic gold medalist on our basketball team. He then went on and played professional basketball for many years, was extremely successful, and then he was a U.S. Senator for 3 terms, for 18 years. Really one of our great Americans of the last half century, in my view. But he had this idea that America should put some money up to be able to take young people from around the world and send them to our country so that you could see what our country is like, that you would experience it firsthand. And actually I'll just tell you, there are now 5,500 Ukrainians who are alumni of this program, and over 20,000 globally. That's a huge number just for Ukraine. That's great. Well, we need to keep doing that. Anyway, Bradley had this idea that you should have this opportunity to not only learn more about our country, but to sharpen your skills in leadership and activism, diplomacy and charity. As he said one time, leadership is unlocking people's potential to become better. And that's what the whole thing is about. That's what, in the end, the serious purpose of the Flex program is. Now, there's lots of other Flex programs out there. I think I'm going to tell my story. Can I tell my Flex story, my favorite Flex story? When I was in Georgia, I thought we sent you to America, not to Georgia. So you're Georgian, is that what you are? I am. You're a Georgian? Yeah, there you go, really. This is great. We have such a great group here. Anyway, this one young guy, one year, my first year as ambassador in Georgia, won this Peace Corps geography essay, and I gave him an award, and he got $50 or something. And I was in Georgia for 4 years, and in the 4th year, I had a reception, kind of like this, where we had all of the Flex alumni come. And this kid comes up to me and he says, "You remember me? I'm Zviad." And I said, "Zviad, sorry, I remember your face, but I can't remember your name." He said, "Ambassador, I just want to say thanks." I said, "What? For what?" And he said, "Well, the whole experience." He said, "It was great. I learned a lot. I learned about America. I was in a little town outside of Emporia, Kansas." Anybody know where Emporia, Kansas? Kansas, there you go, all right. Anyway, but he said, "You know, I could tell you all the good stuff about school and my host family and all that. It all will turn out great. But," he said, "I really want you to know, because I know you're a sports nut, I want you to know I played American football." Now, I know there's one fellow here who I met in Donetsk who was in Maine, I hope he's here, who helped the high school team he was on win the Northeast Championship. Is he here? He's not here? Anyway, I was impressed when I saw him in Donetsk a couple of weeks ago. But this guy decided to go out for the football team, the American football, not soccer. And I said, so do you play American football? He said, of course not. I'm not crazy enough to go and get hit like that. But he said they needed a kicker. They needed somebody to kick extra points and field goals. You guys all know about American football now, right? Anyway, I will make this story very short. But Zviad was kicking all season long, and they came to the last game of the season, and they were playing their arch rival, a team from a town 20 miles away, and they'd lost 5 straight years to this team. And so they played their hearts out, and with 10 seconds left, the other team was leading 21-20. And the coach said, Zviad, it's your moment. And he puts his arm around him, he says, you go out there and kick the field goal and you win the game for us. And he did. And he said, Ambassador, I want you to know, they put me on their shoulders. The crowd, you know what high school football is like in America. The crowd starts chanting, Zviad, Zviad. And he said to me, it was my American dream come true. Anyway, you get the idea. Now, I'm sure maybe not all of your American dreams are quite as dramatic as kicking a last-second field goal, but I'm sure that you had experiences that touched your heart. You met people who were special and will remain special to you all your lives. I hope that many of you will get to go back, not just to the places where you lived and see the people who you associated with, but to stay in touch with them via email. Do you all stay in touch with a lot of friends? You know, this is the great thing about email, is that no matter where you are, you can always reach out and stay in touch. And then invite them to come here. Come and see this great country of Ukraine and show them your life and show them what you're trying to do. Keep those connections going. Keep those relationships alive. Because I'll tell you, I'm a lot older than you guys are. And when you get as old as I do, one of the things that you look back on in your life are those friendships. Not just friendships to help you get a job, or not just a friendship or a family member, but somebody who you care about and you've kept up with. And so I really encourage you to do that. Take the time to write those emails. You know, we don't write letters anymore. We got this great email deal. You will not regret it. I just hope that the experience will remain alive with you, and I hope that whatever you choose to do, that it will be successful. I thought Vitaly Klitschko's ending was, go do it for your country. Your country needs you. And I know you hear that a lot, and you'll hear it a lot more as you go through school, but it really is the truth. Ukraine has achieved a great deal in 20 years, but it's still got a lot of things to achieve, and it needs smart, energetic, young people like you to help make this country the great country that it really can become. So I thank you all for coming today, and I'm going to stick around a little bit, and I hope that, actually no, first we have a couple more speeches. Oh, good. All right, I'm gonna make way for the speeches, and then I'll come back.